Hi there! It's so nice to see you again. My name is Ashleigh, and I'm the host of the Lansing Symphony's LSO Kids program. As an LSO Kid, we have the chance to meet Lansing Symphony musicians and their instruments, hear from a local celebrity music teacher reading a favorite story, and we get to learn a fun activity together. Today, I have a really exciting episode for you where we're going to meet Florina, who plays a very special instrument. But beyond that, Florina is also an author. So you're going to get the opportunity to hear one of her books being read to you today as well. So without further ado, let's hop on over and spend some time with Florina. Hi, Florina. It's so nice to see you.
Ashleigh, very nice to see you as well.
Oh, that was beautiful. I have to ask, what instrument is that and what family of instruments is it from?
Okay, so this is a violin and it's from the string family.
Oh, that's so interesting. I had no idea. So what's the violin made of?
The violin is made of wood, and it can be spruce, it can be maple, it can be even ebony, like this black wood over here. And you know that over 70 pieces of wood are put together to form a violin.
Oh my gosh, I can barely count that high. That's amazing.
Amazing. And I will tell you even a more amazing fact, because when we're talking about animals, the hair of the bow is made of horse hair.
Oh my gosh, were horses harmed in the making of that?
No, it's like a haircut. Don't worry about it.
Oh, that's so neat. So how do you make a sound with all of this stuff on your violin?
So there are two ways of making it sound, and I will tell you the mystery of it. Yeah. So all you have to do is make the strings vibrate. And how can you do that? First of all, you can use your finger and just plug them. And I have a very nice piece that will show you this technique. And I want to play it right now if you agree with me.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I will play a little bit of it. It's the pizzicato polka from Strauss.
Wonderful, beautiful.
Thank you. And the second way is using the bow. And I will play now something using my bow, and I will just put it on my strings, and you will see the difference between the pizzicato and the actual sound created with the bow.
Oh, that was beautiful. Are you able to make any other sounds on your violin?
My God, it's so weird you mentioned that. You can do so many things with the violin. So, for example, you can mimic animal sounds or bird sounds or even traffic sounds or squeaking doors. So let me show you. This would be, I believe it will be a robin.
Oh my gosh, that sounds exactly like a bird. Wow.
And this would be a seagull.
Amazing.
What about the most annoying insect of them all? Let me know if you recognize this insect.
Oh my gosh, it's a mosquito. Oh, I didn't know that you could make those sounds. Wow.
I know, me neither. By the way, I can, let me show you something else. I will take my other violin for this because I have to do something with the pegs. And listen to this.
That definitely sounded like a cow. Wow.
But by the way, what about motorcycle sounds? Would you like to hear some motorcycle sounds?
Absolutely.
Listen.
Oh my gosh. I had no idea there were so many different sounds in a violin.
Even a squeaky door. This is definitely from the horror movies.
Oh my gosh, I just got goosebumps. That's amazing. Oh, with all of these different sounds, I'm wondering, are you able to play something slow for us today?
Of course, Ashley, and I hope you will not fall asleep because this will be a lullaby. I think she fell asleep. I think we should wake her up with some loud and fast piece. Let me try.
Woo!
Ashley?
I'm awake now. I'm awake now. Wow. Oh, that slow piece was so beautiful. I just couldn't help it. But then, whoa, it was like an alarm clock. All of a sudden, I'm awake. Oh my goodness. So how old were you when you started playing the violin?
Okay, so I was 3 years old when my dad handed me a beautiful full-size German violin, which I think it was my grandfather's violin. And guess what I did with it?
I don't know. What did you do?
And it broke and it needed to be repaired. And the weird fact is that violin is this one. It's the violin, my professional violin that I play with every day. And yeah, it had to be repaired and everything, but oh my God, it survived so many years, you know. But I was 8 years old when he bought me a small violin for my age, I guess he learned his lesson, right? And I started to just, I don't know, play all over the house. And in like 2 weeks or so, he decided I needed a teacher. I'm not sure if I sounded bad, and this is, he never told me that. But yeah, so after a year, I was 9 years old. I was admitted to the National College of Arts from Bucharest, and there my violin journey began.
Oh, that's such a neat story. And it's so cool that you have an instrument that you've been able to use literally all your life.
I love playing it every day, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful that he chose this instrument for me, and I'm grateful that he supported me, and both my parents did. Yeah.
Oh, that's so neat. So do you spend a lot of time practicing for performances?
Not really, but don't tell anybody. Shh. Seriously now, I think it all depends on the concert and the program we're playing. But as a professional musician, you have to practice every day. And as a matter of fact, I will have to practice right after this interview. But this doesn't mean that will happen.
That sounds like a lot of my students too.
I mean, I think I will just go in the kitchen and bake some pies. I mean, I have to eat, right?
Oh, definitely. Absolutely. What is your favorite part of playing in the symphony?
It's actually being part of a team. I mean, me and my colleagues are there creating all this beautiful music together, and I really miss doing that with all of them. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful to connect each of us with the others and create something out of it. It's beautiful.
Oh, that's such a great answer. Is there anything that you would do if you weren't a professional musician?
I probably would be like a pirate, or like I don't know, treasure hunter, or a witch.
You've got the broom, you're all set.
And I'm not afraid to use it.
I believe it. Is there anything else that you would like to play for us today?
Yeah, sure. So I'm not sure if you know, but I'm originally from Romania.
I've heard of Romania. Where is that?
It's in Europe, and I was born in Bucharest, in the capital. But then, 20 years later, I moved to another region, which is called. It's still in Romania, but it's called Transylvania.
Oh, I think I've heard of that before.
Where? In the movies with Dracula and vampires, right?
Yes, that's where I've heard it before.
So because it's like kind of me associated with that particular area, I think I will play a piece by Bach. So Bach, it's not really, doesn't have anything to do with that, but this particular piece was associated with Dracula and vampires, and it's called Toccata in Fugue by Bach, and I think you know it. So let me play a little bit of it.
Oh my gosh, it was a little bit scary, but also really exciting. So I feel so fortunate to be able to talk with you because in addition to being a musician, I know that you're also the author of Billy the Frog, which is a story that we're going to read in just a little bit. I'm wondering, what was the inspiration for writing Billy the Frog?
I don't know if you'll believe me or not, but every time I practice, a frog comes near my window and just sits there and listen.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Okay, it's not really the truth.
Oh, I believed you.
So it was inspired by the fact that one day when I was practicing, a frog jumped on the edge of the window, and I was like, maybe he wants to listen. So this is how Billy the Frog was born.
Oh, that's such a neat story, and I'm so excited to read it next. Thank you for spending your time with us today. I feel like we learned so much about the violin.
Ashleigh, thank you for having me, and it was a pleasure to be here and to share my stories with all of you, with you and with all the ones that are watching.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you, Ashleigh. Bye-bye.
Wow, Florina, we learned so much about the violin and the string family in general from you today. I loved all the different sounds that you could make on your violin. That was really neat. Up next, we have local music teacher, Mrs. Voris from Haslett Schools, and she's going to be reading Florina's book, Billy the Frog.
Hello, we are going to be reading Billy the Frog by Florina Georgia Petrescu. We are going to be singing some little songs for each character that comes in. So first we have the bird. We're going to sing Tweedledee. Go ahead and practice that. For our flowers, we're going to sing this. See the flowers grow and grow. For the bee, bumblebee, we're going to go Ooh. For the ants, we're going to sing The Ants Go Marching. The ants go marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah. So when we get to those pictures, you can help out. This is my favorite, slithery snail. We're going to go slithery snail, slithery snail. Nice in a low voice. We're going to hum Itsy Bitsy Spider. And we're going to do our best meow. Meow. Whenever you see those pictures, help me out. Here we go. Billy the Frog. Frogs don't play violin. Once upon a time, in a land full of magic and adventure, there was... Wait! Stop! What are you doing? Said Billy the Frog. The storyteller flinched and stopped writing for a second. He looked around and found that he was interrupted by a cute little frog who jumped on the edge of the window. What do you mean? I'm telling you a story, Billy. I'm the storyteller. Why does it have to be once upon a time? It just happened a few days ago, exclaimed Billy. Yes, but this is the way you tell stories. You start by creating the right atmosphere, the storyteller tried to explain. You just have to tell the truth, said Billy. Biddy, buddy, bum, easy. Oh, okay, Maestro. Here we go. Once upon a few days ago. Better, said Billy. Stop interrupting me. I'm trying to tell a story here. Billy nodded and found himself a comfortable spot. I'm listening. He smiled. Give me a good one. Once upon a few days ago, in a backyard of a big house, a little frog named Billy was enjoying his morning sun. It was a beautiful day. The dragonflies were dancing in the sun rays. The flowers were caressed by the slow touch of the wind. The butterflies were playing games. Billy was an unusual frog. Every day he sat by the window and listened to the beautiful violin music played by the girl who lived in the house. His favorite moment of the day was when she was practicing. Every sound was a blessing for Billy, and his dream became bigger and bigger. But he was afraid to share his dream with anyone. It was too daring. How could he? Just a little frog with a dream so big? Tweedledee. There's our bird. That morning, that beautiful sunny morning, he made a decision. I want to learn how to play the violin, said Billy, mostly to himself, whispering with a shy voice. I want to learn how to play the violin. Then he looked around, scared to see if anyone heard him. It was the first time he spoke his desire out loud. A white bird was sitting on a branch in a nearby tree. That is impossible, squawked the bird. You are just a frog. You can't play an instrument. Frogs don't play violins. She laughed and flew away. Here's our flowers. See the flowers grow and grow. The flowers heard the bird and they replied, my friends, look at this little guy. He wants to become a violinist. What a fool. How are you supposed to do that? You are just a frog. Billy shed a tear and tilted his head towards the ground. But then he thought to himself, I will not let them tell me what I can and cannot do. He looked up at the flowers, stood tall, and said, I am a frog who will play the violin. Sing our song again. See the flowers grow and grow. The flowers looked at each other. How is this possible? But before they could reply to his comment, Billy was far away, singing and jumping up and down. He stopped by the window, waiting impatiently for the girl to start playing. Here she is. She's tuning the violin. He looked at the beautiful flower pattern curtains at the windows, and he imagined that as they would open and his favorite artist would appear with her shiny violin, would play for him and for the entire universe. But a question popped up in his mind. She used to play outside and with other kids, and sometimes she even brought her violin and danced with the wind as she played her beautiful music. But all of a sudden, she did not come outside anymore. What happened? This question troubled him. Maybe if he would play the violin for her, she would open the curtains or step outside and they would play together. What a great plan! Just a small, tiny obstacle. He did not have a violin. And he doesn't even know how to play one. I must build a violin, Billy thought to himself while scratching his chin with his fingers. Who would know how to build one? Bumblebee time. Bzzz. Billy saw a bee collecting nectar from a flower. Bees get to travel and visit a lot of places, thought Billy. They must know someone who can help me. Hello, little bee, screamed Billy. Do you know anyone who can help me build a violin? The little bee looked at Billy with big, curious eyes and answered, Well, little frog, I don't know anyone who builds violins around here, but I know carpenter ants are great with woodwork, and maybe spiders can help you with the strings. Thank you for your help, wise bee, said Billy. Billy waved at the bee with gratitude. Good luck to you, said the bee as he continued his work. Here's the ants. The ants go marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah. The sound of the violin was resonating with the entire surroundings. The little girl was playing again. I must build my violin soon. Billy was determined. He went to the search for the carpenter ant's mound. He found one nearby and he asked to speak with the queen. Your request is a little unusual, said the queen after hearing Billy's desires. We are willing to help you cut the wood, but then you have to glue the parts together. Maybe the smell can help you. You are a courageous little frog, Billy. You really stepped out to make your dream come true. Thank you for your help, dear Ant Queen, answered Billy. The carpenter ants shaped some wood in a few minutes. Billy was amazed with their precision and speed. When they were done, they handed the pieces to Billy. We are looking forward to hearing about your violin, Billy. Come and play for us one day, said the Queen. I will, screamed Billy, and he went to look for the snail. Ready, slithery snail. Slithery snail, slithery snail. The snail was cooling down behind a leaf on the ground. Hello, Mr. Snail. I'm Billy, Billy the Frog. Yes, I heard about you. You are the frog who wants to play the violin, said the old snail while growing his antennas with his little eyes in order to see Billy better. I am old, but I have never heard of a frog playing violin. But I am willing to help you and see your dream come to life. The snail glued the pieces together. Billy was looking at his violin with admiration. Good luck, little Billy. Come and play for me once. Thank you, Mr. Snail. I will never forget your kindness. I will be back. Billy left for the spider. He needed strings for his violin. The spider was very busy building a new web. He was pretty upset that some cat ran after a mouse and ripped his web apart. Good afternoon, Mr. Spider. Oh, here you are. All the animals and insects in the backyard are talking about you. You are the violin frog, said Mr. Spider while he was scanning Billy from the tip of his frog toes to his big eyes. Yes, I am, Billy smiled proudly. He was amazed how famous he had become. All right, let me see what I can do. Let's hurry. I have a bigger project to get done here. I have to rebuild my house, laughed Spider. The spider cautiously built the 4 strings. Then he asked Billy to try out his new violin. Oh, but I don't have a bow, he screamed. The spider touched his chin while thinking out loud. Mr. Cat. Billy shrugged his shoulders and asked, What about Mr. Cat? You need a whisker from Mr. Cat to build your bow and a small arc branch from which you can attach it. Billy started to worry. Mr. Cat will never give me one of his whiskers. Well, you never know if you don't ask him. Good luck, Billy. Come and visit me again. Thank you, Mr. Spider. I will. I will never forget what you did for me. Billy said goodbye to his friend and hit the road. There's our cat. Meow. Now he was thinking of a plan to convince Mr. Cat to give him one of his whiskers. Should he just wait till he falls asleep and steal one? No, he would never do that. It's not a good idea, a good thing to do. But if he told him the truth, he would laugh at him and call him names. He would be humiliated. Oh, so many thoughts were haunting his mind. But then he decided he will stand tall and tell the truth. He thought that this would be the right way to get what he needed. Mr. Cat was resting and chilling in the tall grass while smelling a butterfly that landed on his paws. Good afternoon, Mr. Cat, said Billy with a voice smaller than the sound of the sad stream. Indeed good. What brings you by, Billy? Asked Mr. Cat while stretching and enjoying the cool, sweet breeze under a big tree's shade. I came to ask a favor. I want to tell you my story, and then you can decide if you want to help me, Billy said. Mr. Cat did not bother to look at him. He smiled and replied, Yes, I'm all yours. Billy started. I have a dream, which I was afraid to share because it seemed impossible to accomplish. My dream is to play the violin. But when I decided to share it, almost everyone mocked me and laughed at me. There were a few, though, who believed in me and helped me build a violin. Billy proudly showed the violin to Mr. Cat. Mr. Cat was not paying attention. He was busy looking at a bird in a tree. Billy was not discouraged by his lack of attention and continued. And there's something more to it. You know the girl who lives in that house? She is my idol. Listening to her, I fell in love with the sound of the violin. But she's not coming out anymore. All of a sudden, Mr. Cat turned his head toward Billy, focusing his eyes on him. Indeed, she isn't, he purred. What is your plan? I need a bow to play my violin, and maybe when she listens to my playing, she will come out again. We all miss seeing her and hearing her play outside. I'll help you, said Mr. Cat. She is my favorite human. We used to play together every day. I miss her too. What can I do for you? Billy was so shocked his big eyes became even bigger. He couldn't believe that Mr. Cat agreed to help. I need one of your whiskers to make my bow, mumbled Billy. I'll give you one, but you make sure that you have her come out, said the cat. Yes, sir. If my plan works, we will see her out soon. Mr. Cat gently pulled one of his whiskers and handed it to Billy. Ouch, he said. Meow. That hurt, but I guess it's for a good cause. Now go and play your violin. Thank you, Mr. Cat. I will not forget this. There's Billy. Billy went to look for an arched small branch. He found one and tightened the whisker to it. He was so proud of himself and was also very grateful for the help he got along the way. Now, the only problem was that he did not know how to play. He used to watch the little girl play, but he lacked the knowledge and practice. But his plan was to play violin for her. He felt empowered, and he went by the window, put his violin on his shoulder, and tried to remember how the little girl used to do it. He put the bow on the strings and smoothly moved it up and down, creating some sort of scratchy sounds. Oh, that is not good, he thought to himself. She will never get out if I play like this. But all of a sudden, the curtains opened, and he heard the girl's voice. Who's there? Who's making that awful noise? Asked the girl. Billy froze for a second, but he took a deep breath and he said, It's me, Billy the Frog, your greatest fan. I came to invite you outside to play together. You inspired me to follow my dream. The little girl opened her eyes widely and she looked amazed at Billy and his small violin. Then she smiled and said, Wow, I did not know frogs could play the violin. How? How is this even possible? Come outside and I'll tell you about it, said Billy, jumping around. But I can't come outside, said the little girl. Billy stopped his happy jumping dance and asked, Why not? Never mind, I'll come. It truly is the weirdest thing I have ever seen. And she disappeared from the window. Billy held his breath while waiting. Why was it taking her so long to come? The front door opened. Here she is, said Billy impatiently, but when he took a better look, he felt as though a dagger stabbed his heart, and tears fell from his eyes. He dropped his violin on the ground and froze. She was in a wheelchair. The little girl smiled and said, You know, little frog, the first rule in playing the violin is don't drop the violin. And she started laughing. Billy was sad, but managed to smile. Nice to meet you, she said. I'm Rena. Who are you? Again? I am Billy. I listened to you play the violin for so long that I myself wanted to learn how to play. But then I wondered why you didn't come outside anymore. What happened? I had an accident, replied Rena. The doctor said that I will never walk again. I was so ashamed and sad I didn't want to go outside anymore. She started to cry. Rena, dear Rena, said Billy, never doubt yourself. Just because someone tells you you can't do something, it doesn't mean it is true. You will never know if you can walk again if you don't try to make it happen. Look at me. When I shared my dream, I was told it was impossible, that frogs can't play the violin. I was mocked and they laughed at me. But I never gave up. I asked for help, and now I have my own violin so that I can fulfill my own dream. Will you teach me how to play? I can't do it without you. Billy, you gave me hope. I'm ready to step outside and play. Will you help me walk again? Of course, jumped Billy. Shutting yourself away is never a good idea. Playing, laughing with the sun and the rain, having a dream and working towards it. This is the way to a happy life. There's always a solution out there ready to be discovered. Billy jumped to Rena's arms and they shook hands. All right, Billy, I promise not to be sad anymore. I can do so many happy things instead of just feeling sorry for myself. Let's start practicing. The sun will go down soon and we have to go to sleep and dream about our new life. The end, said the storyteller. Billy jumped on the storyteller's paper and took the pen in his little frog hands. The end? There's never an end to your dreams, cried Billy. Hey, don't get too excited. The end is only a new beginning, said the storyteller. New stories and new adventures will be born. Thank you for your story, little Billy. Thank you for listening, Billy replied. I have to go now. We need to practice for the concert. What concert? Asked the storyteller. Rena and I will play a concert to inspire others to follow their dreams. It will be called Dare to Play Your Dreams. Everyone with a dream is invited. Farewell, storyteller, screamed Billy while jumping from the window in the tall grass. Farewell, courageous little frog. What an inspiring story, thought the storyteller for himself. He gently closed his notebook, took a piece of paper, wrote a note to himself, and glued it on the window. Follow your dream. The end. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Wow, Mrs. Voris, that was such a great reading of that story. I love singing along with you during the different animal parts. You know, you guys, we've had a lot of rain lately. I'm wondering if you might be willing to kind of bring the rain inside and help me with your at-home activity, making a rain stick. I'm going to start off with some toothpicks and my paper towel roll. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stick through and make my toothpick go across the roll, as you can hopefully see there. And then I could do an opposite one and very carefully go through. Have to be careful there. And so what you're going to do is you're going to start to crisscross or add in other toothpicks so that by the time you're done, your toothpicks are all crisscrossed. That way there are lots of places for the stuff that you put on the inside to bounce. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some tape to tape off the ends. I'm actually going to cross my tape like this. That way, whatever I put on the inside doesn't get stuck to the tape. So then I go through and I tape off my ends. And it might be a little bit tricky, just do your best. You might use different tape as well. There we go, taping off my ends. And then I'm going to add my, well, in this case, puppy food, but you could use beans, you could use beads. There are lots of different things that you could use on the inside. So if you listen, the first time I put them in, you're going to hear it make that sound. And you can even kind of watch it drop through. It's got a really nice sound to it. You could also experiment with how much you want to put on the inside. That looks like that'll cover there. You could make a couple of these and try to figure out which you like the best as something to stuff your rain stick with. So there's lots of different choices that you have when you are making your own rain stick from home. Another option is you don't have to use a toilet paper roll. You could use a paper towel roll, which is going to end up being about twice as long, and so when your beads make those noises, or puppy chow, or whatever it is you put on the inside, then it's going to end up, the sound is going to end up lasting longer. So listen up as I play my rain stick. There it is. It's a short, quick sound. The more toothpicks I put in, as long as I still have space for whatever I'm putting on the inside to go through, the longer it'll take for stuff to fall, and the longer the tube, again, kind of like the paper towel roll versus the toilet paper roll, is going to end up having an effect on how long the sound lasts. Have fun! I hope you enjoyed making a rain stick with me today. You have so many options. You could add in beads or beans or anything else like little stones or pebbles that can make those sounds. You could cut off kind of those pokey sides. Parents, you might want to help out with that and add some tape around the edges. You could color, you could decorate. There are a million different things that you can do to make your own rain stick. I hope you had fun today. We learned so much from Florina. Thank you for sharing your violin with us. Mrs. Voris from Haslett Schools, what a great reading of Florina's book, Billy the Frog. And I would also like to thank our sponsors, Jackson National Life, Comerica, MSU, FCU, and the Ari Olds Foundation. Can't wait to see you again and learn more about the symphony. See you again soon, LSO Kids.